I know you guys may know about Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett is an actor. He's an actor on the show Empire. And you know about what happened recently this week, I assume, where Jussie pretended to be the victim of a crime. But, you know, it's pretty much well documented now that Jussie was never the victim of any crime. He claimed that that he was in Chicago and some MAGA supporting people came up and called him, you know, the N-word and all these other derogatory things, and then they put a noose around his neck and all this other stuff. Well, it was only a matter of time before this happened, but it was just tweeted out officially. It's officially tweeted out that Jussie Smollett is now the subject of a criminal investigation. The Chicago police for a long time kind of held to the company line that Jussie is being treated as a victim, and that's all there is to it. Well, now that's just not the case anymore. Jussie is now a suspect. So it's going to be interesting, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I know that the grand jury right now has been presented evidence that Jussie made up the whole attack, the whole hoax. It's also interesting to find from what I've seen that Jussie also has been found to have been connected to that letter. There was a letter that was sent to him, or on the set of Empire, that looked like a little kid wrote it, and the letter basically had this threatening language in it. And that letter also, they believe, was written by Jussie or by Jussie's friends. So Jussie's in trouble. I want to say, hey, Jade, and hey, Well-Wisher, and Sharon, and Amanda, how you doing? And yes, Jade, thank you for sharing that, Jade. If you want to get text notifications when I go live, just text the word Boyce to 31996. Just text my name, Boyce, to 31996. Now let's see, Reem the Dream says, I wonder how all those women feel that was calling all men out for not talking about him or defending him because we already knew it was BS. Yeah, this whole case, the Jussie Smollett case, isn't just about Jussie Smollett. It's not just about one person. In fact, I'm gonna link it to another case that involves a lady who isn't black, that also involves like this massive fraud sort of pulled on the public, where they kind of tie together, in the sense that you can have situations where you get to a point where there are certain people or certain circumstances under which people are intimidated into not asking questions. Where there's certain situations where people say, oh no, don't ask questions, because if you ask too many questions, that means you're doubting the person, or that means you're victimizing them all over again, and blah, blah, blah. And what I've been saying all along is that, you have to ask questions no matter what, because sometimes you don't even know who the victim actually is. You may think that person A is the victim when really the victim was person B. I've been saying this about the Me Too movement since the thing started. Not that the Me Too, I have, I got daughters and I love black women, and I want women to be protected too. But I also believe in women's equality, and equality means that women lie just like men lie. Women get ambitious and make things up and for their own personal interest the same way men do. So if you get to the point where you're running a whole campaign like they were with the Me Too movement, that what was it, believe women, that's what they would say, that hashtag was believe women. And I'm like, that's stupid. Why would I believe anything that comes out of somebody's mouth just because of their gender, right? That doesn't make any sense. Like, why would I believe everything that you say just because you said it? That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. So effectively, what happened with the whole situation with Jussie Smollett is that there were people who said, he's a gay black man, you have to believe him. And if you don't believe him, that means you're one of them. You must have been with the Trump supporters that night when they beat his ass. You're a racist, sir. You are a homophobe, sir. You are a sexist, sir. Like, no, the shit didn't make no sense. It didn't make no sense. I'm gonna tell you, like, right now, some of y'all may be lying if you raise your hand and say, I question this from the jump, but I'm gonna raise my hand and say I was one of those people who questioned it from the jump. You know why? Because I live in Chicago. And I remember when the attack took place, and I remember thinking, what? Ain't nobody hanging out outside looking for a Subway sandwich in this weather. I didn't even want to go into the garage. You could have caught pneumonia in our garage, like frostbite, hypothermia. It was cold as hell. Cold as hell. I was like, no, he was, something was going on with that. Like, what? And this sounds just so over the top. Like, aren't you that Empire nigga? How many Trump supporters watch Empire? I'm not a Trump supporter and I don't watch that shit. If I'm a car carrying redneck who hates black people, and black people, the blacks and the Jews and the gays, if I'm one of those people, why in the hell would I be watching Empire? And how in the hell would I be able to identify a cast member from Empire at 2 o'clock in the morning when it's so damn cold that your balls shrivel up on contact? Like, why would I, if I am a car carrying hillbilly redneck, why would I know enough about Empire to be able to identify characters from Empire in the middle of the night? It's stupid. It came out of, it sounded like it came out of somebody's little fantasy of what they want to believe that other people want to do. They, and again, I'm not going to sit here and say that racial violence isn't real. I'm not going to sit here and say that homophobia isn't real. I'm not going to say that there aren't people out here, crazy hillbillies that out here that want to hurt people. But I'm going to tell you this too. Here's a little thing that don't nobody want to really listen to. I'm from the South. I'm from the South, and I know a lot of people in the South who will never vote for a Democrat, who have been Republican their whole life, who might even say some stuff about affirmative action that might offend you. But some of these people, a lot of these people are just regular people like you and me. They just don't agree with what you believe. They believe something different. And as long as you keep over your side, you do what you do, they're going to do what they do. They're not out looking for some black gay person to beat up in the middle of the night. And again, I'm not saying those people out there don't exist. I'm just trying to say that sometimes we get so carried away that we want to believe that there's the boogeyman lurking behind every corner. That around every corner there's some white person that just wants to kill us. And I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that simple. I think that racism and all the stuff that we know is very real, it's a different kind of more subtle kind of thing. So when he laid out the story, like they said, aren't you that faggot nigger from Empire? And they poured bleach on my head and put a noose around my neck. I said, this just seems weird. It's almost like they went to these people went to racism school. Like they almost sound like cartoon characters, like somebody you would create in a movie. Like they seem like movie characters, right? That's what, and it makes sense, right? Jussie's an actor, so Jussie, and he was acting, he was pretending, and he even did his backstory. He created this whole scenario where there was the whole, mysterious letter that arrives, this threatening letter. Again, like really, like I'll be serious. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm just saying, like, really, like you really. I know you're the gay Tupac and everything, so maybe you're that important. But really, like really, there's people that would just sit around and come up with this letter, which looked like it was put together by a 7-year-old, and mail it to you to tell you they're going to come find you at 2 o'clock in the morning and negative 15-degree weather when you're out looking for a Subway sandwich. It doesn't make any sense. And the thing is that this spills over. I mean, if Jussie's making this up, do you really think that every single person who's made an accusation in the Me Too movement, an unquestioned accusation, do you think that every single one of those people was telling the absolute truth every time? Like, do you think that every single person who said, during the Me Too movement, he grabbed my ass in 1999 and I've been traumatized ever since? Do you really think that every single one of those people was telling the truth? Do you think that maybe we could preserve the integrity of the movement by doing a little due diligence and saying, look, we're not going to just believe everything that comes out of your mouth. We're going to check that out, right? In fact, right now, as Jussie is on trial, there's another lady on trial for doing the same thing, getting so caught up in this whole Trump shit, whatever they're talking about, that she literally went and made up a story. She said some Trump supporters saw me and they attacked me and they said, you Muslim bitch, and whatever. I don't know what the story was, but basically she made up a story and they found out she was lying, and she's on trial too for filing false police reports. Now, if you want to know, in case you just came in, we're talking about Jussie Smollett. He's now officially the target of a criminal investigation. He is no longer being they're no longer, sort of walking the standard or telling the standard story that he's considered a victim. He's no longer considered a victim. He's now considered to be a perpetrator. He is, according to the tweet by Chicago police, if he is convicted, he would be convicted of a Class 4 felony. And I don't know exactly what a Class 4 felony means, but it does mean he's in trouble. And they effectively no longer believe his BS story. I think that a lot of people didn't believe it from the beginning. I know the people in the right wing didn't believe it, but then again, nobody believes the right wing, and I don't believe half the shit they say either. I don't believe half the shit that the liberals say either. I think that what happens is you get these gigantic exaggerations and all kinds of fake news coming from every direction, where the Republicans are telling you that, that all the liberals are so communists that want to destroy America, and the liberals are telling you that all the Republicans are racist and want to kill black people and whatever. And it's just kind of annoying to me. They tell you all men are filled with toxic masculinity and that we're all just, straight men are worse than racist white men. We're the new KKK and it's just dumb. It's all stupid. There was another, just speaking in terms of, how people get caught up and how people, end up believing massive lies like this. I was just watching another set of news stories about, as a business professor, I'm always interested in stories that relate to business. And there's this lady named Elizabeth Holmes. I don't know if you guys know about Elizabeth Holmes, but Elizabeth Holmes founded a company called Theranos. Now, Elizabeth did what a lot of young tech geniuses do. She dropped out of Stanford as a sophomore, and she goes and starts this company, and she gets billions of dollars in backing. I think her company eventually was worth about $9 billion. And she had attracted, all this money from Silicon Valley. She's sitting next to people like Bill Clinton at events. She allegedly had invented this device that allows you to take a prick of blood and run thousands of blood tests on one prick of blood, which is actually scientifically impossible. But she was very charismatic, and she looked like Steve Jobs. She wore black turtlenecks like Steve Jobs. She would go speak at all these investor conferences, and everybody admired her. And they'd sit back and say, "Oh my God, I want to be like you," right? All the young Stanford students looked up to her. And it turned out that she was making it all up. It turned out that everything she did was completely fake. And so when they were going back and trying to figure out, they were like, how did this happen? How did all these savvy investors, end up investing hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars into this company? How did this company get an $8-9 billion valuation? How did Walgreens end up adopting her testers and putting them in their stores, right? Where people were running these tests at home, and they take the test, and the blood test would tell you got cancer, or whatever. And the doctor would test them again and say, no, you don't have cancer, right? Like literally this kind of stuff was happening. And what they found was that a lot of it links back to culture. It links back to how sometimes as human beings, we can get so carried away in a culture that we start to believe things that aren't true, right? We can, we were enamored. People were enamored with this whole image, all the imagery of this young female Silicon Valley leader who forms this $9 billion company. It fits our story. It fits our preconceived narrative. We have a narrative in our mind that we want to see become reality. So when people know that you're fantasizing about something and they can pick up on that, they say, here's your fantasy. I'm right here for you, baby. Come on, just give me what I want, right? Like some guys do that with the ladies, right? They can feed. I knew a guy, I kid you not, I knew this fat dude. He was in an Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity member. That's neither here nor there, but that just happens to be a little fact I remember about him. But this dude, he's a real fat dude, and there's no reason any normal woman would want to date him. But for some reason, this chubby ass dude had all these girlfriends. All these women love this guy. And we were like, how's this fat son of a bitch attract all these women? Like they're all like fawning over him, and he's just like spitting on them and throwing them to the side. And you know what he said? When they asked me, said, so what's your secret? Like, how do you get all these girls chasing you down and, and letting you just treat them any old kind of way? And you know what he said? He said, let me pay attention now. Listen, especially the ladies, you got to know this stuff. He said, it's easy, man. You just sell a hoe a dream. Just sell a hoe a dream. That's literally what he said. Now, I'm not trying to use that term. I'm not calling anybody a hoe, but that's what he said. That basically he figured out what your fantasy was, and he would feed you your fantasy. right? So if your fantasy was, if he could tell that you want to get married and settle down and have kids, he'd say, yeah, I'm thinking about having kids one day too, and I think that'd be nice, and a nice little house, and my career, I'd be a lawyer, and da da da, and then I come home and you could bake some cookies, and like whatever, right? Like whatever your fantasy was, he would feed that to you, right? So ultimately, there again goes back to people having a preconceived narrative, people getting carried away with the culture, and people feeding right into what they expect or what you're hoping that they'll say to you. So I believe Jussie Smollett, aka the gay Tupac, he saw this whole environment, this whole MAGA environment. Everybody's fired up about MAGA and homophobia, and being gay is kind of the cool thing now, and being black and gay is super cool in Hollywood, right? I'm sure he gets all kinds of ass off of that. And so Jussie's like, okay, I can make myself super relevant by making myself into a martyr. Colin Kaepernick, he took a knee. Now he's a martyr. Now Colin Kaepernick makes 10 times more money than he would have made as a football player, right? So he's like, I want to be a martyr too. So he's like, okay, I'm going to make up this little fake letter, pretend like somebody's threatening to kill me. And then that's going to set us up for the big season finale, which is I'm going to be out at 2:00 in the morning in negative 15-degree weather looking for a Subway. I don't even know if Subway's even open at that time, but maybe it was. And somebody's going to attack me, and the media is going to find out, and I'm going to be a celebrity. And then on Empire, they can never fire me. I'll be the hottest gay man in Hollywood, and I'll have all the opportunities in the world. And one of the other reports was that on Good Morning America, even Good Morning America, I was watching that interview he did with Good Morning America. You guys remember that? Where he's talking to Robin Roberts, and it was really funny. Robin Roberts is like looking at him, and she wasn't looking at him like, oh, you poor victim. She's looking at him like, kind of like, I don't believe your ass, but I can't say nothing because you're gay like me. And if I do, people are going to get mad at me, right? But you could tell Robin didn't believe what he was saying. And so media reports came out later that the staff at Good Morning America, that they believed him before he got there. They did not believe him after he left. And so, and the other report was that, Jussie was calling them, begging them to do this interview. Like he really wanted to do an interview with Good Morning America. I mean, who wouldn't? That's a big deal. That's a boost for your career. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's predictable when people fall for stuff like this. I think that this incident is a symptom of a bigger issue. The bigger issue is that right now we're living in this era of, Me Too. And if, for example, anybody who accuses a man of anything is going to be automatically believed, because we've decided that women don't lie and that men are evil, because toxic masculinity makes us into little demons and our penises are like weapons of mass destruction, right? So that's why men have to be careful. You go to work and you're the manager, you're like the senior, the senior vice president of tacos or whatever, and your subordinate thinks you're attractive and she hits on you and says, hey, why don't we go on a date and y'all get together and y'all have some sex? She could come back later on and say, oh, he lied to me and he pressured me and he forced me to go get into bed with him, right? And people are going to believe that, because right now we don't believe women can tell a lie. And we believe that men are always guilty no matter what, especially if it's a black man. That's why right now, despite the fact that you got all these damn pedophiles and sexual predators in Hollywood, the faces of pedophilia and sexual perversion and sexual assault that they've presented in media have all been black. It's been Bill Cosby, it's been R. Kelly, it's been Michael Jackson. It's rare, and who else? Even Chris Brown got falsely accused or whatever, right? And they wanted to splatter that all over the media, even though it turned out the girl lied, right? So basically, that's what's going on. People are carried away with the culture. They have a preconceived narrative, and every story that gets pushed is going to be one that fits that narrative. Stories that do not conveniently fit the narrative are not going to get pushed. That's why people who said they did not believe Jussie Smollett were either ignored or they were attacked. Well, I just believe that those who believe in truth and justice and just finding out the real facts, I think they should attack the people that attack them. You should fight back against those people that want to push forward with the lie, that want to suppress free thought. These people are not your friends. These are not good people. So Jussie, Jussie's going to get what he deserves. But I think that the culture itself is what needs to be kind of dealt with. So the same way they always talk about things like rape culture and homophobic culture and all this other stuff, well, you know, you've got liar culture, and that's pretty much what you've got going on right now with whether it's with the Me Too movement or with all the stuff that's kind of happening, more so in the liberal space than anywhere else. And so that's my spin on the Jussie thing. You know, I'll be curious to see how it plays out. Do me a favor, if you're on YouTube, please stop for 1 second. Please hit that thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, my book is called It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. You can go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. Also, do not forget that we just released a film. We have a film division. We have a film production company called Boyce Watkins Films. Our new film is called The Black Love Blueprint. It was directed by award-winning director Dorian Chandler, executive produced by S. Tia Brown, who you see on the Dr. Oz show all the time. She used to be one of the bosses over at Ebony Magazine. If you want to go check out the trailer, go to theblackloveblueprint.com, theblackloveblueprint.com. The goal was to create a film in which we can have relationship experts talk to Black people about how we can make Black love the most popular thing in the world, how we can make Black people love each other again, how we can strengthen, create, and preserve strong Black families. And the film achieves that goal remarkably. So feel free to go check it out. It's theblackloveblueprint.com. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Did I say it right? Or theblackloveblueprint.com. Thank you, Miss Mello. I looked at the URL for some reason. I felt like it wasn't consistent with what I just said, but you get the point. All right. Let's see. So how to make money without a college degree. Yeah, that was the previous video. I don't know why you would see that same title, but just go to drboycetv.com. We did that segment earlier today. It was a good one with Danielle Pierce. So feel free to check that out too. All right. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys soon. Be good. Peace.